Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. I am Angel,
I'm Adan.
and this is our DC-ness review of Black Adam. Is it worth the watch or a waste of time? I don't know how to do special effects. Guys, again, as always, please check our description if you want to save on gas, groceries, and restaurants. Check the description below. It's not a sponsor, but we would like to help you guys out as a appreciation for checking us out. Spoilers, by the time we're reviewing this.
But by the time this releases, it'll be already in theaters.
Right. How was your theater when you went in?
I want to say there was about like 20, 25 people in my theater. Now, granted, I went at 6:30 in the after evening, which is not the most packed. But when I left, it was like 9 o'clock, and still the parking lot didn't look as filled as you would imagine for like a blockbuster. That could change by tomorrow, though.
Including me and Kimberly, there was like 10 of us, maybe, in the theater. I think what they did was a mistake in the sense that they opened so many theaters at such early times that the impact of how usually premiere movies are, in a sense, the day before actual premieres, that was usually like 1 or 2 theaters starting around
like a special event kind of situation, or
right. But but they were doing it like at my theater in Miami. They were showing like from like 2 o'clock. They were having showings already on a Thursday.
Oh yeah, like my theater was doing like at like 1 or 3. I just couldn't do it because I had to work.
No, of course, me same here. I just think that kind of hurt it because like an hour prior to booking the tickets, the theater that for the time I could do was empty, and then last minute. Anyway, but I know a little bit of Black Adam in the sense of the DC Comics, how he came about, what he's about. He's in the comics originally started as a villain, then he became more of like an anti-hero. He was Shazam's arch enemy, and then became more of an enemy to Justice League. And he was a major threat. He was as strong as Superman and Martian Manhunter, as well as Shazam. He had to step up on Superman because Superman is affected by magic.
True.
And that's one of the sources of Black Adam. Or in this case, in this movie, even though the title is called Black Adam, Teth Adam. And at the end, only one person says at the end, or 2 people really say at the end, but not him, not yet. What was your initial thoughts of the movie? Was it entertaining with you? Was it lackluster? I
had a good time. It was entertaining. Absolutely. There were I'm not going to say this is the best film. The parts that got me hyped. I would say there were some parts at the end which were a little cliche, and the first and middle acts of the film actually were overshadowing the third act, which that sounds bad to say, and it is in a lot of ways, because when you're watching a film, usually the third act is the one that's supposed to be really, really good. But
it's supposed to be the closer.
It's supposed to be the closer. Right. But the main villain didn't really seem that urgent or that important.
Right. I agree with that.
And what I mean by that, it felt like the villain was just put there so they can have a villain other than potentially Black Adam.
Right. Well, the villain was there to make Black Adam
the big climactic fight.
Well, no, that was supposed to be him, like in a sense, like really changed. So he's not strictly a villain; he's the anti-hero.
True.
So that's why that villain was there. Sabak.
Yeah.
Was, I guess, placed there to show us that he changed in a way. He changed. So he's not just killing people just for the sake of killing, but he's doing it to save people. Granted, though, he was saving people from the get-go. He saved the lady, the mother, the archaeologist, wherever she was. So you can see that he's not totally bad. He's saved them from her and her brother from that. No, but I'm talking about from the rocket that was launched at them.
Yeah, but that was launched by Intergang.
Right, that I understand. But what's cool about this, though, even though it's not directly a Warner Brothers film, is from New Line Cinema,
Mhm.
which I find it kind of interesting, even though it is a branch of Warner Brothers. What was the highlight for you,
Then the main highlight
or whatever it was? What was the highlights for you?
when Black Adam first showed up, and I mean that's technically a two-parter. Like when he first showed up, the whole cave scene where he's taking on the bad guys in the tomb,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
showed like how ruthless he can be from the get-go. I was like, ooh, yes, okay, that they're really like he just incinerated a guy,
Hmm.
and then they start shooting on him. But then when he goes outside and they start like the helicopters shoot at him, and then they go into which I thought was, are they poking fun at Quicksilver? Because like
Right.
that did feel out of place. I love the song that they chose, but it felt out of place because of like out of the blue they're playing Painted Black, and I'm like, I get it, but it was a cool scene because basically that's what you would think if Superman went rogue. That's how the world would look to him if he's just destroying things. He's just going through, and he's like,
Right.
it's so easy for him to like one guy throws a grenade and he just grabs a grenade. He doesn't know what it is. He just shoves it in the guy's mouth.
Right.
At the same time, devastating an entire arm. So that
Hmm.
was to me a great scene. There was a lot of other entertaining scenes. The fight between him and the Justice Society actually was pretty entertaining to me.
That was.
The one scene that actually got me to sit up and get it out, almost get out my seat, I have to admit, was the credit scene.
Oh, well, see, for me, I already knew that was going to happen because The Rock on interviews and all this stuff, and then like on Instagram, they were showing like a text thing where Black Adam and Supes are talking, and it was just like you're telling everybody what's going on or what we're about to see without actually directly saying it. The
See,
Rock again,
I was
Dwayne
avoiding
Johnson,
those
he
kind of
said it.
things.
No, I understand, but like say on the interviews and even the interviewees, be it Jimmy Fallon, who have you, were trying not to expose things, not to have spoilers. But The Rock, I'm gonna call him The Rock because that's what I know of him, and he's like we're like the same age, he and I. Yes, I
Hmm.
know he's a little more has more sex appeal than I do, but that's okay. I won't get offended. But he will go out and just go on a tangent and saying things that will allude that someone of equal power would be in the movie. I was hoping just to throw a wrench into it was Martian Manhunter because Martian Manhunter is just as strong as Black Adam and Shazam and Superman.
Hmm.
Granted, Kimberly didn't know, so when she saw Soups show up at the end credit, she got excited. She's like, "Oh!" So yeah, that's pretty cool. That is cool overall. It is. It locks in. This is part of the DCEU. Even though we had Amanda Waller there show up, who else? I think that's it. That was Amanda Waller was the only character until Soup showed up. She was the only person that had the connection between Black Adam and the Justice League and Suicide Squad and all that.
True.
So that was kind of cool to lock it in. So I'm sorry I cut you off because you were saying what else that you enjoyed.
I mean, like it could be argued that he was trying to reference Sabak, but it's clear, like you know, Zeus was in there. I mean, for me, like up until the point where he relinquished his power, it was pretty much at that point where I was like, okay, everything here, I was actually having a good time with, like the sense of
Hmm.
humor, the dynamics of it. I even like how they did his story. Like at first, it was like not the true origin, and then things started changing. The story, his origin is still slightly different than what it was originally in the comics, but it's damn close.
Right.
It's damn close.
Okay. So what is the origin that you remember? Because from what I remember is was not exactly what they showed.
So there's two. There's the original, and then there's like the new 52 original origin. So the original was like he was a slave. Family died, and it's pretty
Hmm.
close to what they did here. And then he became like Black Adam by the sorcerer,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that pretty much stayed fairly true. It's when his family died. That's when he killed his enemies rather than just uprising and saving his people. It was the fact that he actually committed murder was the fact that he was in prison. And then
Right.
after like 5 centuries, he was released, and he met Billy. In the
Huh?
Billy Batson.
He met Billy.
Billy Batson.
But how did he
That's
escape?
Shazam.
I
Oh,
know that's Shazam, but like,
the main villain is Shazam with the eye.
oh, okay,
In the comics,
the
it's
glasses. Yeah.
yeah, he's the one that unleashed him.
Okay.
In the new version, it's similar, but what happened was the son of no, the nephew of Shazam, why am I saying Shazam? Nephew of Black Adam gained the power, and in an act to like try and like help his uncle, he gave the power to him, shared it like the Shazam family does. But
Okay.
Shazam, I keep calling him Shazam. But Black Adam was adamant that in order to free his people, you have to take the strong approach. You have to kill. You can't hold back and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm,
And the
mm-hmm.
power was split between the two of them. So
Gotcha.
he waited for a moment for his nephew to relinquish the power, and in that moment he killed him, claimed all the power in order to accomplish the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then he was in prison, released,
Right.
back and forth. Yeah, it pretty much goes back to that.
All right. Because all I know is the him being Black Adam, not that his son or nephew were the original, and then they was shared upon him.
Yeah,
That I did not know.
which
But
is
also,
technically
I have,
fine. No,
but
sorry,
I
go
have a
ahead.
correction on the no, no, I have a correction on the connection of the DCU. I'd said Amanda Waller, and then at the end of Superman. But we also have the Wizard. He's in this as well. The Black Wizard. He's in Shazam, and Shazam is also linked to the
Yes,
DCEU.
that's the
So,
Shazam.
huh?
The wizard's name is also Shazam.
But, but then who were the other ones then? No, because it was several. When they were locking him up, when they were putting him in prison, it wasn't just one being; it was several. So there was others that represented the letters. It had to
No,
be.
no. Those are the seven wizards. The one that survived was Shazam. He adopted the name. He also just goes by the wizard, but like
Right.
he's also known as Shazam because he
Okay.
says "say my name."
Correct.
But what they were doing is they're all individual wizards, and what makes the name Shazam is like names of it's a pseudonym, is
Yeah, I
a
know.
acronym. Well, I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's
for
why
other
I have
people, like
that's have back on my Black Adam training hoodie that I
no,
bought for the film, and I was debating should I send it back, but no, because I like the hoodie, so I'll keep it. But you're right. So that yes, he becomes say his name for the movie in Shazam, and so when I saw that, I was happy. That was a highlight for me to see that again, going into locking in that this is still in the DCEU, and that they're making it sure that they're using the same actors, not like different actors playing the same characters. For me, my highlights was him fighting Justice Society.
okay.
That was good. I liked how you could see their strengths. I also did not like it. I didn't like it because of the characters, not of what they were doing. My favorite character was Doctor Fate. Even
Oh
though
yeah,
I felt they got a little wrong with him. Again, it's been a while since I read those comics in a sense of with Dr. Fate because from what I know, Dr. Fate really had no control. It's like when the helmet's near him or when he touches it, it's like it just takes over control. Here, I guess they had a bond that he can easily take off the helmet and stuff like that. So he was taking off the helmet easily, where I
yeah,
know when the helmet's on, is like it's stuck there.
yeah,
I did like the costume, even though it's very close to the original. I like that it had no eye holes cut out.
yeah. The
It's
eyes
just a
did shine
shield.
on at that one moment in the end. Yeah.
Right, but it wasn't cut out. So when he had it on, you didn't ever saw his eyes. You just saw just the helmet. And
hmm
I did enjoy that. Again, Pierce
Um.
Bronson brought a nice dimension to that character.
So
Again, it's the first time in cinematic or film that we see him because we've seen him in other aspects, like in cartoons.
yeah, the whole thing about Doctor Fate. Think of it like Venom. It's like so. You Venom is the main character that we know is Eddie
Right.
Brock and a symbiote. That's Doctor
Hmm.
Fate. He's the symbiote version.
Hmm.
The symbiote aspect
Right.
is the helmet. It's the helmet of Nabu.
Hmm.
Nabu is the spirit that houses the actual helmet. So
Right.
technically, it doesn't go down that lineage. In the comics, though, it was originally why can't I remember the guy's name? The guy who Pierce Brosnan played. And
Right.
then at one point it became like his wife, like it passed down to other people, and then became him and his
Mm-hmm.
wife. They like fused and become one. It was like
Okay.
teeter totter. So it doesn't have to be a bloodline thing. In the
Mm-hmm.
show Young Justice, the animated series,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
a fantastic show for anybody who hasn't seen it, love it. I
Mm-hmm.
swear by it. It was first that the same character that Pierce Brosnan plays. Then it got passed on to Zatanna's father, and then
Oh, got you. Okay.
yeah, and then it became in the latest series like Zatanna has it for one point, and then she passes it on to another, and they like rotate it. But basically, it doesn't matter
All
who
right.
has it
I
as
thought her
long.
father. I thought her father took over again.
No, he passed away.
Okay.
He passed away.
It's been a while. Like it's like, I just can't. So much material. I get confused. So
It is
yeah.
a lot of material, and the whole
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Fate thing in itself is such a. It's like Doctor Strange, but there's a whole new level to Doctor Strange when you
Yes.
think about with Doctor Fate, and they did him. And you're right, he is different, not just for what we just talked about, but also in the like they only reference him being a Lord, representative of the Lords of Order once in the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
like that doesn't really explain things. He's like, I see the future. No, man, Doctor Fate is not about just seeing the future. Like that's not his big thing. He is like,
Mm-hmm.
I am order. I bring justice and order
Right.
to things. So sometimes
Right.
like there could be a natural disaster and he won't interfere because it's part of a plan or something like
Right.
that. He's like, that's fate. You can't avoid it.
He's like the TVA
In that
in
sense,
a
yeah.
sense, right? But yeah, I couldn't help but think of Doctor Strange when he sees like multiple outcomes, and then it's like when Hawkman is supposed to die. Like that's the only outcome he saw, and I was like, okay, that's Infinity War there and Endgame. Granted, it still happened in a way that what he saw is still what happened. So he could have been wrong. He may have saw his death that led to looking like Hawkman was going to die because
Yeah.
that's the same scene. But anyway, so I did like that when they were fighting all over the city, and I do find this entertaining, but it's not. It doesn't match the hype that it was given. I have to say that it does not suck. That is not great. It did not really do, in my opinion, anything that made me go, "Wow, this has revitalized the DCEU." In anything, it just kept it steady, in my opinion.
So you would say it's not in your
Um,
top 5 of DCEU.
it's entertaining. I'll watch it again just for the sake of entertainment. But there are so many flaws and plot holes in this that it just made me question like why couldn't they, this movie was in the making like for 15 years.
At
It was
least
in the
8.
15 years of, no 15, like it was a long time, like he was putting down like hints for a long time. So yeah, and the story they came up with, I just feel if you're working on that long to get this movie made, the story should have been tighter, in my opinion. I'm sorry. If you're buried for 5,000 years, you should not be speaking English perfectly. You should have an
Oh,
accent.
I know why.
Okay. Why?
He has the same power set as Shazam. So he had one of Shazam's power sets is wisdom. Like he has the wisdom of Solomon, but he has the Egyptian version of it, which actually
Mm.
gives him knowledge beyond knowledge on certain on a lot of different things.
So that makes him speak with perfect English, no accent.
Yeah, because you notice when he, as soon as he relinquishes the power, he can't speak English again. He only speaks in conduct, like ancient conduct.
But Dr. Fate was talking to him in English. You understood that.
What was the mind? But that
But
was the only thing
still,
that came to that because that was the immediate thought that I had when that happened. So that was the only thing that came to mind about that. But I see where you're coming from the outside in. If
right.
you're not
Because the
familiar
thing
with
is,
the character, it doesn't make sense.
but the thing is, okay, like one of the best representation of Black Adam is Superman versus Black Adam, or Shazam, the DC short.
Superman versus
Uh,
or Shazam versus Superman, or the Superman versus Shazam. Matter of fact,
um,
I left the theater going like I should watch that short again because that
I
is one
mean,
of the
it
best
is done.
representations.
Is Superman slash Shazam, the return of Black Adam.
Yeah,
That was a good one. And the thing is, like, he has pointed ears. There's no pointed ears here. I mean, that's it's minor things. It's minor. I get it, but I'm just saying, it's like he's not just like he's from a different, he's a different type of human being, or maybe you could say he's an alien in a way because his ears are not regular formed ears. But anyway, in that short, the voice was played beautifully by the guy from Hard Target and The Mummy.
The guy who played
With
the mummy.
yeah, he played, he starring Brendan Fraser. He played the voice for Black Adam in that short, and that was perfect because you have a man from a different country, like Egyptian, what have you, and it just felt right. Where here is The Rock being The Rock. There was no real diversity of this. It was just him playing him that wanted to play Black Adam, and so that kind of made me a little disappointed. I was, like, let's be true in one way, in the sense you're from the Mediterranean. Let's have that little add to it, because everyone else that he's supposed to represent, like his people, had an accent one way. It was slight, in which I also find weird that everyone was speaking English in a foreign country perfectly, hardly any accent. I was like,
They're not going the route of Zack Snyder. We gotta go ultra realistic and gritty. In my
no, but you
universe,
don't have
Batman
to.
bleeds and kills his people.
But no, what I mean is, like, for me, that takes me out because it felt like they didn't really put the work in. It's like they're shooting in a Hollywood stage lot or sound stage, excuse me.
Mhm.
In Superman 2, with Christopher Reeves, they shot majority of their stuff in London on the soundstage. There's a time where Superman leaves Metropolis because Zod is like blowing, and his girl is like blowing the people away. And then Superman leaves. And there's two kids that talk to each other. Now, Metropolis, supposed to be like New York or Chicago. They talk in English accents. Oh, Superman didn't do anything. He just ran away. Wait a minute. How are these black kids in the city speaking with an English accent?
They were transplants on vacation.
But I'm just saying, that throws you off. You're like, wait a minute, what? Here, that threw me off. Now, I gave my one or two good things. It was the fight with the GSA and Pierce Brosnan's performance. So here's my,
Your negatives.
oh yeah. On that Quicksilver scene,
You didn't like it?
no. How the hell is that hood staying still if he's going as the speed of light? The hill, there is the
It's
hood
magic.
stays. I don't know. I'm sorry. His cape is moving, but his hood stays still, like it's a helmet.
That's Black Adam in his emo stage. You got to keep the hood down for your emo.
No, I would have appreciated it if he went so fast that the hood moved back. But for aesthetics, I know they were doing that. It's like, again, that's taking me out. I'm sorry. No, the mother and kid, not needed. I felt like having that, the mother and child, is lazy writing. They're using someone really out of the context to think they're moving the story along. They did this with Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. Do you remember where they had these two people?
Yeah,
Eyes
Courtney
of their story,
Cox and someone else. I can't
some
remember
other
his
dude.
name. I mean, I get where you're coming from that angle. I mean, for me, like, I know there was a recent story not too long ago where it did involve, instead of a mother and son, it was more of a sister and brother, and that became Isis and Osiris, and then you had like the Black Adam family, which led
See,
into.
well, if they did that at the end, say like they became,
But then you'll have a group of
lovers,
people
whatever.
arguing that's going to be that's just a copy of the Shazam thing that they did. In the comics,
Right,
it turned out
but
to be something way darker that came out of that.
and there was no ISIS here.
Yeah,
Like
that was his first love.
they didn't address that in the past. Like they didn't name her
Hmm.
to say, okay, oh, that's ISIS. All right, so maybe she's not a superhero, super being, but that's from his past, and that's his true love. That's okay. That's Isaac. No, they didn't just talk about his son and him. It would have been okay if, say, like she helped him escape prison, and then accidentally dies because of the rubble, what have you. There was a casualty that maybe gnaws on his brain, and then it can help turn him. But in my opinion, it was unneeded because, for one, you show that she's a bad mother. She put her son in danger, so she got him involved. Also, she's supposed to be in hiding. People are looking for her. She has residence. If you're looking for her, you can find her residence. It's not like she's hiding underground or somewhere like
It's true.
with another family.
She
She's
stayed with
hiding.
her brother.
She's hiding. But come on, really? Is how hard you can't find
I'm agreeing with you.
right? And then when the kid is hiding with the crown and they're looking for him, instead of staying his ass in that cellar until people come to help him, he goes out and tries to get by on his skateboard that's 10 feet long to get to the stairs.
Well, he's a child.
I was yelling at the screen, like, no, he's not a child. Stop that.
He's a
He's not a
teenager.
child. He's a freaking teenager. Doesn't matter. He's not a child. It's like he can get himself in danger. He can put himself at risk, but he's going to do that stupid move. Like, you hide your ass. You just stay there. But no, they had to help move this story along. He had to come out while they're walking by him, not like after they pass his floor. No, let me go out while they're walking right by me so I can get caught. And that's what does he do? As soon as he gets on the skateboard to slide, boom. And then as he's running around, he walks down steps, gets on a skateboard, then walks down steps. I was like, dude, either run with the skateboard or fucking throw the skateboard out. And then again, like here's a more nitpicking. There's our windows. There are door openings. So Black Adam just flies through the walls instead of like after one or two. You know what? I see an opening there. Granted, Dr. Fate did say they don't have doors back your day. Oh, that's what we did back then. We just walked. Bullshit. You didn't walk. You didn't have powers all the time that you walk through walls.
Yeah.
That was a stupid response. I'm sorry. The Atom Smasher trying to find love with, what's her name? Hurricane? Tornado? What was her
Cyclone.
name? Cyclone. Thank you. He's trying to flirt with her. And I was like, those two characters, like they weren't seasoned. Now, granted, I did like Henry Winkler showing up. That was a great cameo. He was the former Atom Smasher.
Yeah.
Well, I did like that when I saw him.
That's what I was going to say. Like they kind of did need to have an Atom Smasher because in the comics, he becomes almost like best buds with Black Adam. That's why they had that moment at the end where he goes, "It's like we did make kind of a good team." He's like the best. And he's like, and he goes, "Don't push it."
Fine, but write better for the character then, because all he was trying to do is really hit on Cyclone, and he was just fucking up left and right.
True. He
didn't really help that much. All he did was pause Black Adam at one time. That was it. Also, when they're getting Sabak and Hawkman, there's a Dr. Fate does that barrier thing.
Yeah.
And then Hawkman says, find an entrance, find a way in. And so they separate. And then once Dr. Fate goes down and the barrier is lifted, they show up at different ends, but then they run as Sabak at the same point. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? And then Atom Smasher didn't get big to help fight Sabak, I think. I don't think so. He did.
No, he did. That one scene where
he got big to fight Sabak?
He got big and then he got
by the throne?
Down. Yeah.
Okay.
He got smacked down pretty hard. Well, that brings up a point I was going to say. Like, honestly, the movie does feel like there was more to the film that was cut. A great example, the necklace. Early on into the film, they comment on the mother's necklace as an heirloom passed to my grandmother as part of this magical metal. Da, 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 da. I could be wrong. I think I saw the necklace on a flashback to when Black Adam's wife was killed.
Maybe.
Now, I will say this. Sorry.
Like, I'm thinking that it was probably part of the oh, here we go. Also with the crown.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because it feels like there was no need to talk about the necklace. That's why I'm bringing it up. But otherwise.
Right. But I'm saying like plot holes and some lazy writing. And so you're going to tell me the most dangerous thing, the crown, is right above the burial ground of Black Adam? Are you kidding me? Why would you have it together instead of separate? The crown is whole. Unless that part of the necklace was part of that connecting to make it one solid
It wasn't
crown.
Used for that. The necklace wasn't used at all.
I know. I'm just saying that's what it looked like.
Yeah. I get what you got. Right?
It was. It lit up when she was saying the chant.
Yeah.
To release Black Adam, it lit up.
Oh.
So there was a connection there. But what I'm saying is like Why would you have two pieces together? Because he can't defend it since he's in prison. And so if anyone gets it, it could be dangerous. Granted, I guess you had to be in the lineage to really activate it. And these people found it relatively easy. I'm sorry, it was
I
like
mean, they
no
did
really
say
hard way to get in.
it was hidden away for like 5,000 years, so not that easy.
Yeah, I guess people weren't really looking for it because
Once they
they
got
got
there,
there
it
pretty
was easy to
easy.
get in.
I mean, they drove right to it.
True,
They
true.
drove right to the site. Again, the more I'm looking at it, it's like, wow, this is really like lazy writing. And again, if you have this for like 15 years working on this project, everything should be freaking airtight. Like you should come out of this movie like, damn, that just rebirthed the DCEU. This is what we want. And to me, it just missed points. He just played the rock in black and gold. The mother and child and brother were not really needed. And then the people, okay, here we go. Here goes another nitpick. Jesus freaking Christ, there's so many. The freaking DDT or the Jay-Z,
It's an A.
this thing,
It's a big A
where the kid,
for Adam.
I don't care, is still DDP from freaking WCW. Okay?
I thought
And it's
this
also
was.
Jay-Z's answer. Oh, yeah, it is that. So it is that. But you get the point. You get the point. The hands, yeah, okay, fine. The hands are open. But the thing is, Jay-Z does that, right? And then Black Adam's like, okay, fine. It's an A, big, okay, wow, woo. But then the kid's like, guys, what are we doing? We have to, blah, blah, blah. This whole big speech, what the son's doing. And then this guy goes, hey, guys, what are we doing? I'm like, that's what he just said. The kid just said that. So why are you repeating him?
He's mansplaining the whole speech.
And then the zombies come, and then hey mom.
Then it turns into
Turns
Scorpion
around,
King.
the kid rolls right. Exactly right.
Mummy too.
And the kid, like, when did he get the skateboard?
He always has a skateboard.
Like, what? No, he did
That's the
not.
kid's superpower. Like this, he manifests a skateboard.
I mean, okay. So here we go again. Also, so Black Adam saves him from being shot. Then
Yeah.
Dr. Fate comes in, rescues him, takes him out of danger. Why is he being hospitalized?
Because he got shot.
Why is he seeking medical attention? He got shocked.
By that point, Adam was already going nuclear. Dr. Fate took him before he could get fried, but he got some damage, is what I assumed was what happened.
It looked like he got no damage because the nuclear, when he went nuclear to kill Sabak before he became Sabak, he was way out of danger. Everyone got covered before he was able to get nuclear. I just find it mother and child out. It could have been a tighter story without them. I mean, again, there are so many potholes and loose ends here. Again, I was like, how is this? How is there? I mean, what the, it didn't seem tight. And like you said, there's probably stuff missing they left on the cutting room floor, what they probably should have kept in. I don't remember how long the movie is.
2 hours and 4 minutes.
It felt longer.
I will say this, like I said, that scene where he gave up his powers and he took him to Waller's. Right there, I thought that was like, if they cut it right there, it's arguably not the best ending, but that would have been an ending because then we were
yes, exactly right, exactly right.
Because that was another
right,
30 minutes for no, not 30. Was it 20 minutes for the last bit of Sabak?
I don't know. Say they kept it, and they took it from the Superman / Shazam Return of the Black Adam. In the scene there, Billy's underwater, and he's like drowning because I guess he can't swim.
I know what you're talking about. I thought they were going to do that.
He can't swim. Me too. And I was like, that would have been awesome. That would have been cool. And it would have been more epic that he says Shazam underwater. But since it doesn't make any sound, but the bubbles do, the bubbles are holding the words. And once it breaks surface, he hears it. And then the lightning bolt comes in. And then you see Black Adam, explode out with the new cape and gold. I was like, okay.
That is a thing.
He's better without the cape, I think. He looks,
for one, that is a thing in the comics that like any injuries, and this is from Captain Marvel, Billy Batson. Any injuries he sustains as Captain Marvel, are reversed when he goes back to Billy, and vice versa. If he's injured as Billy and goes to Captain Marvel, they get reversed.
But I'm saying he got to upgrade.
Yes, well, and
That's what I'm saying.
that's the other thing. So the costume, in a way, the reason why Billy looks the way it is actually is a part of his subconscious and mental image of projection of himself. So Billy actually
Okay.
looks in his adult form at like his father. Like there's a point he actually does meet his father, and it's like night. They look almost identical. He just looks more buff.
What does that do to Black Adam?
They have identical powers from the onset. So like if his mindset is like I'm, redeeming myself as a hero, I should look more like a hero because doesn't he get asked like where's your cape, where's this or that, like he gets asked a bunch of other stuff about how he looks. He's trying to make himself into a hero.
I understand that. Also, in that short, when Black Adam, who's like ancient, when he turns back to human form, he immediately disintegrates because he's so old. Yet here, they neglect that because when he's back to human, he's not defying nature.
Yeah, they went with the comic book approach.
But yet he goes here and he's already,
because in the comics he does go back that, and he doesn't disintegrate.
Well, yeah, I know. I just find out. Okay, I mean, him going back to say I'll say my name and don't let me say my name again. I was like, that's too easy. Now, let's go over reviews and not reviews, but our.
But right before the review, I just have one question. What do you think of Hawkman? Because I knew about Hawkman, but I imagine you were more familiar with the Hawkman character than I was.
I don't understand why they were scared of him dying because he's born again.
I mean, that's his whole MO in the comics and in the cartoons. I don't know if that's going to be it. They never addressed that if that's his MO here. He
almost did. They almost did when he says, "I'm not afraid to die." And I thought they're going to go through that. I was like, "Oh, okay." So they're going to honor that.
Yeah,
but they didn't. Okay, he's the Batman of the GSA.
Oh, you know what? I thought it was like more the Professor X.
His plane did look like the
X-wing.
The X-wing.
And his house,
and how it came out of the ground. Yes,
exactly.
And I'm saying, hello, that came out. Wait, his ground floor, that was way too fast. And then, like, how stable is that ground?
And then you got to ask yourself, where have these people been during Justice League?
Right, because they've been around. They say they've been around for a long time. Okay, now to go through the lady, whatever her name is, the archaeologist, she made a fair point. We've been under rule for so long. Where have you guys been? You guys come here because you find our hero a threat? Where have you been when we needed you? Well, where were you? So don't come that bullshit. I totally get it.
It was also kind of funny when he was trying to bring home a good point and retort to her comment, and then a statue gets knocked over because of
by Adam Smasher.
Yeah. And he goes, "You and me later."
Yeah, that kept becoming an ongoing thing with that because he kept messing up.
Exactly. He goes, and when they start talking about who's going to die, he's like, "Is it Adam Smasher?"
I'm telling you, because he was useless.
He made me laugh.
Cyclone was a better fit for that team.
Yeah, she was efficient. I actually don't know Cyclone in the comics myself, but I was like intrigued by her. I'm like, you know what? She's kind of cool.
I mean, granted, she has a tragic story because she was kidnapped and she was forced
experimented
these powers. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if like Hawkman. Or they had like acknowledgement of Hawk Girl.
Like just their background of the story, their lore. Like,
right. Now, his representation, I found it a little too hot-headed too quick. Now, is it like that in the comics? I don't remember, but he was just like off the guns. He was like Black Adam in a way.
Yeah.
Where even though he had control in the sense he won't kill, but he was just like fast to react instead of like understanding or he was just following orders by Waller. And I didn't know that Waller had their ties in the GSA. Oh, also Homegirl from Peacemaker is in this.
Yes, she is.
I can't remember her name from the show, but she's in this. So again, another tie-in to the DCEU. So there's now 3 people. Wow, there's any more now? Jesus. But there's now 3 people that ties in to the DCU, and I was kind of happy to see. I was like, all right, okay, then they keep it in. But now, like, where does his time frame happen?
Maybe before Peacemaker, before Suicide Squad. The Justice League movie was before
Well, he was
Suicide
dead.
Squad.
Remember? Right, and
No,
he was dead, and
does
then he came back.
well, Suicide Squad and Peacemaker was after Justice League because the just like Flash and Aquaman were teamed up at
Right,
that
but
point.
I'm saying, but the thing is, Homegirl from Peacemaker, she's not back. They're still on a mission,
Yeah, no, that's what
right?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is probably before Peacemaker.
How so? When she's in the office with Amanda Waller in Suicide Squad.
Was she in the Was she in the office?
Yeah,
Oh.
they're all there. So the time frame now that is into question, or does this take place after Peacemaker? That she comes back to Waller and the good graces.
That makes sense. I
So
mean,
then,
that you make a good point because like my head, like now I'm hurt my head. Like yeah, maybe she did come in afterwards, and maybe this is after because
after
like
Peacemaker,
yeah, well after
after her time
Peacemaker,
after her time in Peacemaker, because the thing is, Peacemaker is not done at the end, right? I can't remember. There's another season. I know that.
yeah, yeah, there was like a scene that leads into another season. Um,
Right.
yeah, I mean that makes sense because then like that also makes sense how like Waller has Superman on speed dial. Like there was no other reason why she would have Superman on speed dial until afterwards.
So like her position, she must have gone higher in the ranks in position because she was just part of the Suicide Squad. And then what happened there where she can now have Superman on speed dial?
Mm-hmm.
What ladder has she climbed up and what position? So again, there's more answers there that we need to answer or question. But then again, you have the thing where there's no dog here, like from Super Pets, because at the end of Super Pets, we see Black Adam.
I don't think Super
And
Pets is canon, duh.
but why not when you have The Rock reprising his role as Black Adam as the voice
That was
and the
just for
look?
fun.
Oh, talking about the look, they did honor the comic book version of Black Adam with the sun
Yeah,
when they're doing a flashback, and they showed his hair in a sense, like a little bit. You saw it in the silhouette. I was like, oh, I got finally, because I was like, because the thing is, only The Rock has no hair, his version of Black Adam, where in the comics he has hair. It's like a Eddie Munster with the widow's peak.
yeah,
And I think the son had the ears, the pointed ears. I'm not too sure, but I did notice the hair.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. You have that. You have that. I think we've talked long enough. I vented long enough. I wanted to like this. I was hoping there would be a knockout of the park, as similar to Wonder Woman. I was hoping it would be as good even as Aquaman. I was hoping it could be good as Shazam. Shazam was better than this, in my opinion. So you want to do that real quick? Our ratings in the sense of ranks, in the sense of the DCEU?
Oh, I got to think of them all now. Um,
Well, here we go. This is what we got. We have Wonder Woman 84, Aquaman, Justice League.
there's also Aquaman too, isn't there?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Didn't
It's
come out
coming.
yet.
Yeah, sure.
No. And then you have also Man of Steel, which started it all. And then you have Black Adam. So good luck.
I'm comfortable with Wonder Woman being number one. Yeah, that
Mhm.
holds a fondness in it. If it's on the TV, I will gladly watch it. It's a beautiful
Mhm.
film in a lot of ways for me. Man of Steel is my number two. I would.
Okay.
I always stood behind Man of Steel. Um, I'm not that big of a Zack Snyder fan, but I was like, Man of Steel was a solid Superman film for me, and a lot of people don't like it. I was like, that's a really good film. It's underrated.
I
Um,
mean, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, yeah. His editing he could work on his editing a little bit, but go ahead.
and
All
it's,
right.
it's a fair argument because there's a lot of other things that have been affected that way. Shazam, number three. I'll go. Honestly, I'm gonna do Black Adam before Aquaman because I got more entertainment out of Black Adam than I did in Aquaman. And Aquaman was a fun film and a good film. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying, just
Okay.
rewatchability. I will get a chuckle out of Black Adam more so. And this
Yeah.
is saying because I do love Dolph Lundgren's character in Aquaman surprisingly well.
Great acting.
It
Hard,
was fantastic.
amazing. Surprised to say that was some good acting on his part.
Yes. And then the others
Okay, so I'll
is
reiterate my.
Batman versus Superman in the Justice Leagues. Did I miss one
All right, so
after that?
no. Right. All right. Now, disclaimer: during the time of our original recording, during the rankings of best to worst DCEU films, we forgot three of them: Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, and The Suicide Squad. So I'm going to do now is give, including those, give my ranking. Adan would do it on another time. Just for warning, I did not see Birds of Prey, but I'm not going to include it on this one. So as of now, including Black Adam, there are 11 DCEU films. Well, actually 12 if you don't count Zack Snyder's Justice League and then Joss Whedon's Justice League. But I'm not including Joss Whedon's. I'm including Zack Snyder's. All right. So from best to worst, in my opinion, you have Wonder Woman, Batman versus Superman, the Ultimate Edition, the 3-hour version. Then you have Man of Steel. Then you have the Suicide Squad, James Gunn, the Suicide Squad. Then you have Shazam, Black Adam, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84, and then Suicide Squad. Birds of Prey, I don't know where that falls in, but most likely it falls in between, from what I've heard, right between Wonder Woman 84 and Suicide Squad. Now back to our review.
Oh, I missed Wonder Woman 84. That's what I missed.
Worth the watch?
I would say yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is worth the watch. Just don't expect it to be a home run. It is watchable. There are, like I said before, some plot holes or some lazy writing. Characters definitely not needed. They went the lazy route, adding the archaeologist and her son and brother,
The
in my
villain.
opinion. The villain, that played Sabak, right. There was no real threat that I felt like he's the one we need to be looking out for. He's the one they're looking up. No, it was just
I think
right.
it,
There's
I
like
think
no real build up on that character or development.
if they focused on Intergang as being the main villain, like the group as an organization, that could have been like a better villain overall.
Right. Instead of being like side characters
Mm-hmm.
or what's the video game terminology for
The big
non
bad boss,
non
BB.
NPCs?
Yeah,
NPC, non-playable characters in a way. They were just side things here and there. It was just they weren't a threat. They weren't like really like terrorizing or controlling the town, the country as the threat. Like these are the villains. Like they're holding people down, even though like they're like more like mercenaries. And he knew that he was a bad guy from the get.
oh yeah, it wasn't a
Like
surprise.
when they went to the cave, they should have done a better job in a sense. Like if he's gonna be the bad guy, let him be the bad guy. Like have her as hostage, and then
Yeah,
forcing her to find the spot with her, threatening the life of her son or son and brother. Like if you don't find this for us, we're gonna kill them.
yeah.
That would have been a better motivator or motivation to move the story along.
Like he was the one
And
that killed
then,
her husband. That kind of thing.
right, maybe he was in the way that, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
It's not told or shared.
Is
Those,
it worth going to the theaters? Is it worth
yeah,
the cost?
yeah, yeah. I mean, no, like a movie like that with that big grand scale with the big fight scenes and all that stuff. Yes, it would have been. Yes, it's definitely worth the watch in the theater, especially IMAX. If you can do IMAX, that would be awesome.
I agree with that.
I did. Here's two things I did like also when Superman showed up. They played the John Williams Superman music. Love that touch. I also like the detail though of Black Adam always floating. Well, for the
Yes.
majority of the time, he's floating because he felt Well, in the comics, he was more like, "You are beneath me. I am superior than you." And so he was always like floating that way to have that, to taunt that. I mean, in my remembrance, like Black Adam was more like or similar to Sinestro, where he'll rule his country with a hard fist.
I compared him to Doctor Doom in that aspect.
Well, yeah, they're both similar in that way, right? And ISIS was the one that kind of like softened his heart in a way like, no, not so. You gotta be a little more
True. Oh, and that was the thing I was going to tell
giving.
you. Like just a fun fact. So recent years, the whole bit about Isis and Osiris, those characters, and she did soften his
Hmm.
heart. Like you could be like a
Hmm.
hero for the world kind of situation. That whole thing blew up because in the comics, it turned into a short series called World War III. Until
Oh, wait a minute. I think I remember that series. Yeah.
yeah, it basically like a evil gang scientist group wanted to bring about the apocalypse, so they create their own versions of the Four Horsemen, uh, not magical, through science. They end
Hmm.
up killing Isis and Osiris, and Isis's last words is "Get revenge on them all." Like it's no mercy, like something along those lines. Those are her last words.
Hmm. Hmm.
When I say scorched earth, there was like Black Adam just is like, I will torture, kill everyone. Doesn't matter who it is. If you're defending them, I will. It doesn't matter what country it is.
Hmm.
One of
Hmm.
them turns out to be death, and just absorbs all this massive energy from all the people who killed it. He's like killing men, women, children. Doesn't matter who. And he's like,
Hmm.
I will kill you, bleed, resuscitate you, kill you again. Once you give me the information, I'll kill you once more again. On top of that, he's like just that kind of guy.
Right.
And it took Justice League, Justice Society, Teen Titans, Doom Patrol. They were all chiming in, even like the Green Lanterns, and the only ones that weren't there were like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They were all doing their own thing, and like some celestial beings to take down Black Adam. It was crazy.
Yeah. I remember that. That was kind of long ago.
I
That was
want to say
several
like
years ago, I think.
yeah, within the last 10 years.
Yeah, but it was a good story. I remember that too. Right. And she does say that, and then yeah, he unleashes hell.
Yeah,
And that may be it. The archaeologist and her son, they may be the future Isis and Oasis,
Osiris.
Or Osiris, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They may that, and that's probably who they represent. Uh, I mean,
You just didn't
it
feel
just
it.
to me, I didn't know. I didn't feel it. It just because the kid was stupid. He kept getting in danger. The mother put him in danger. I just know as a parent. Well, I'm not a parent, but I know parents wouldn't do that. They wouldn't put their kids in that kind of thing. And it would have
True.
been better again if Sabak, I keep calling him Sabak because that's what he turned into, that if he used the kid and the brother as bargaining chips, if you will, to force her hand to find Black Adam or to find the crown, because that's what he was looking for, the crown.
Yeah,
So yeah, so they're looking for the crown. See, that makes no sense. The crown and Black Adam being in the same spot makes no sense, especially if they're finding the crown. If they're looking for the crown, they're not looking for Black Adam, but they're there, and she knows about him. See that
there's a lot
it should
going
not be
on.
there. But it should not be in the same cave or in the same 10 feet.
It's fair.
Thank you. Yeah, but to go back to Shazam, where the wizard tells the story about Shazam, and I
Mm,
thought that should have been the spot where he was buried, but no, it's like they buried him there, and then they moved somewhere else.
yeah,
But there's supposed to be 7 chairs because that's where it was, 7 chairs in Shazam.
yeah.
So it should have been in the same spot where he was buried.
He relocated. They had more than one because that's not where they had the Rock of Eternity.
No, but that's where they buried him,
True.
and that's where they were. So you would think, see the loopholes I'm telling you about? See, or the plot holes. They're like,
I mean, I would say that the tomb where they buried Black Adam was the same spot where, which explained that one scene explained why there's only one wizard because he basically killed these 6 other wizards.
right. But yes, he killed them, but yet he didn't kill them.
What do you mean?
Who killed who? Who killed the other wizards?
Black Adam killed the six of the 7 wizards.
Right, but he didn't because they imprisoned him.
No, that was the final wizard that finished the spell to imprison him. They were in the middle
But
of imprisoning him as he was killing them, and they show the main wizard from Shazam finishing the spell.
so wait a minute. So on that battle, he was killing them.
Yeah, he was going. Yeah, you see them dropping to the floor.
Oh damn! I just totally blanked out on that
It's a
thing.
lot of colors and a lot of mist,
Right, it's a lot of colors. Like they're showing the colors of like the other Shazams.
and like little
Purple.
smokes and stuff. Yeah, like their
Right.
colors, and then they would have smokes. But I was seeing bodies drop. He was killing them.
Okay. I thought they all chanted, and he hit the final word.
Oh no, yeah, they were
Okay.
chanting, but he was fighting back at the same time. He's like, "I'm not going to let you just do this."
Okay. All right. All right. I stand corrected, unless I see it again and I prove you wrong. But okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
wait for HBO Max.
Yeah, I'll come there in like in 2 weeks. Anything else before we go? Okay, guys, that will be it for us on our DC-ness review of Black Adam. Whatever. If you agree or disagree with our opinion, please let us know. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adan.
Love you, bro.
I love you too, bro.
Okay. How long was that? Like 3 hours?